So welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and it looks like we are ready to get underway with our top 24. Eddie, a heated qualifying session earlier on today gave us some unbelievably good top 24 battles, and a top 16 looks even better from there on out.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we saw some very aggressive driving from the drivers. A lot of guys coming here to, prove a point, and it's at that time of the season where if you don't start driving at your best and putting on a show and just going all out on track, you're not going to be in contention for the championship. So it's essentially moving day here in the British Drift Championship, and these guys looking to get themselves right in the mix for the rest of the season. The circuit is pretty much perfect for our battle actions, and obviously a little bit of a change in what we saw earlier on with qualifying one car out on the track. Now we go to the battles where there's two cars. They were pitted over 2 runs, and we're just going to go quickly to our judges just to get a talk through or an explanation. Oh no, we're not. We're going to go straight into the action for top 24 with Ian Phillips and Brett Perry waiting on the line. Of course, any driver qualifying outside of the top 8 having to battle to get into the top 16. So Ian Phillips and Brett Perry are going to battle for the opportunity to come up against Martin Richards in the main event top 16 later on this afternoon. So they are waiting just to get the call to the start line from our start line Marshall Malks.
Yeah, so it looks like those guys are ready to go. Like you say, Eddie, yeah, no word from our judges. Pretty straightforward. The aim of the game for you guys in attendance or watching at home that have never seen this before, the idea of the lead car will be to put in a 100-point qualifying run. So the job of the lead car is to put in the best possible run they can. And the idea of the chase car is to get nice and close and mirror the lead car's line. We will then, obviously, after one run, swap them around, and the chase car will get to lead, and the lead car gets to chase. From there, a decision is made. If the judges don't have a decision and it goes to a one more time, then these guys will battle again. But only one more time can be used, and our judges will have to come to a decision. So as you can see, Ian Phillips are just down there warming up his tyres on the back end of that LS-powered Nissan 350Z. And Brett Perry now will do his thing. You can see the thumbs up out the window there from Ian Phillips. It looks like he's ready for action or business.
Business, yeah, it's business time as we alluded to earlier on. And of course, these two drivers qualifying mid-pack 16th and 17th. Okay, so these guys are very close together in terms of how they've been performing on track so far this morning. And as we said, a space in the top 16 awaits the winner. Ian Phillips qualifying at 16th, the higher qualifier to lead them in on the first run. Then we switch it around for the second run, and Brett Perry would be in the lead position. Who's going to take it through? Malks gives the orders. We are good to go for top 24. Phillips versus Perry. Phillips goes through the chicane. Brett Perry just guns it straight off the line. And big weight transfer entry here from Ian Phillips. Oh, with a bit of a straighten. Drops a couple of wheels offline and getting it all wrong. Messing up the line of Brett Perry in. Yeah, Ian Phillips gets it wrong on initiation. Just looks like he grabs a little bit of understeer already. Just drops off circuit ever so slightly. Gives Brett Perry the opportunity then to reinitiate and get nice and close. Brett Perry firing it in through that final hairpin. I can only imagine judge is going to be deeming Ian Phillips at fault there for that, unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, I think big, as you can see just on the Samco Sport replay here, Ian Phillips drops one wheel, then two, kicks up a lot of dirt, loses the rear bumper, and unfortunately, causing big obstruction there. Brett Perry not able to complete his run the way he would have wanted, and I would imagine, as you said, Ian, the judges will penalise Phillips heavily for that error on entry. Yeah, so both these runs scored out of 10, so both drivers start off with 5, and the more mistakes they make, they bleed points, Eddie. Exactly. Basically to the other car. So you can see Malks there just checking over both cars just to make sure that they are in tip-top condition and ready for action. And the drivers are now again brought back up to that start line for the second half of this battle. And anything can happen here in the British Drift Championship. So while Brett Perry should have an advantage from the first run, this is far from over just yet as they leave the line. Perry to lead in Phillips. Yeah, Brett Perry's opportunity now to lead as Ian Phillips tags on the back end of that R33 Skyline as they fire it in. A nice initiation there from Perry, but look at Ian Phillips. Ian Phillips right up on the door of Perry's Skyline. Yeah, Phillips bringing the fight here. Knows he's got to be on the door all the way to stand a chance here, try and force an error from Brett Perry. You can just see body panels just about holding on in the rear end of that 370Z. And as he crosses the line, guys, make some noise for Brett Perry and Ian Phillips.
So, looks like we're going to go to a replay, and we have a side-by-side comparison now, Eddie, mixing up a little bit with our new graphics and live feed, so you guys can actually get a very good comparison to lead car, chase car versus lead car, chase car. So, as you can see, very good proximity in Ian Phillips' chase, but unfortunately that error on initiation from Ian Phillips.
And of course, Brett Perry laying down a very strong lead run, making it easy for the chase car to follow as well. So judges will take all of this into consideration. You see them just jotting down their notes.
Yeah, it looks like we do have a decision. Slide them left for Perry and right for Phillips.
Kieran goes Perry, David goes Perry, Ben goes Perry, Brett Perry takes it through to the top 16. Ian Phillips bows out of competition. Pretty obvious one there, judges. The error from Phillips on the first run, the difference between the two guys.
That's right, Eddie. Ian Phillips 1 and 2 causing Brett out of it, and wasn't able to complete a good chase run. Brett had a bit of an error between 5 and 6, not enough to claw it back from a 7-3, but Brett put a really good solid lead run in, and that made it a lot easier for Ian to be able to chase him. 6-4, but not enough to overturn it.
So there you go, not enough to overturn it on the second half of that run. We move on, and it's uncharted waters for Matt Carter, sitting outside that top 8 in qualifying, has to battle to get himself into the top 16. He's coming up against Lee Barker.
Yep, Matt Carter qualifying in 9th place. So yeah, like you say, Eddie, having to battle Lee Barker in 24th position for a place in the top 16. Like I said earlier as well, Lee Barker threw that car in door-to-door with Dwayne McKeever yesterday in practice. So that guy not scared to go door-on-door. Can the door hunter get door hunted?
Well, we're about to find out as they leave the line. Malks gives the orders. Barker taking on Carter. As Carter leads them in the borrowed Team Jap Speed spare vehicle. Oh, a little bit unsteady there from Barker as he tries to jump onto the door. Look at this, side by side as they come around the bank in.
Yeah, very, very good from Lee Barker. Just drops ever so slightly down the bank to gain that proximity, but judges going to be liking the amount of proximity that Lee Barker is bringing to the fight as he gets back on the door again. That Carter absolutely flying though as they bring it across the line. Teesside, give him a round of applause.
Yeah, a really nice run from both drivers as we go to the Samco Sport replay.
Yeah, as you can see, Matt Carter, very wide initiation, but Lee Barker just drops down ever so slightly off that first clipping point, so gets himself in a weird place on the circuit, coming up to clipping point 2, but then really gains some good proximity and stays on the door.
Yeah, from there on, stays on the door, as you mentioned, Ian, and keeps it pinned. Look at that transition, just getting a little bit caught, and you can see quite often some of these bigger chassis getting a little bit stuck, trying to go on that narrow line where, you know, it's a lot tighter and not as fluid for these drivers to try and get around the circuit. As we await the scores to come in for Lee Barker, Matt Carter, who's going to go through.
Now we've got one more run to go. Yeah, Eddie. Eddie's getting a little bit excited. He wants, come on, calm down, Eddie. Calm down. We've got one more
getting
run.
Getting ahead of myself.
We don't want top 16 just yet, so we're going to swap them around. It will be now Matt Carter's chance to chase down Lee Barker for a spot in that top 16. Get the all clear, they get the thumbs up from the drivers, and look at Matt Carter, and very, very eager to get off the line now. Judges saying that the chase car could, in theory, jump start ever so slightly, but look at this, nice initiation from Barker, gets up high on the bank.
Yeah, Barker looking really fast here, and at the moment it doesn't look as though Carter, the 2017 champion, has an answer. Can he get onto the door? The door
here comes Carter though, look at this. Nice transition from Carter as he fires it on the door of Lee Barker's car.
Yeah, jumps down the inside and keeps it pinned in.
Door to door as they bring it across the line. Brilliant run there from both those guys. So not sure how the judges are going to call that one.
But now we can go to the judges.
Now we can go to the judges, yeah. Well, we're going to see a side-by-side comparison first of both the runs from our Samco Sport replay. As you can see, Barker way down on the turn, you know, completely dropped off of clipping point 2. So judges going to take that into consideration.
Gets that proximity in importantly and keeps it there for the remainder of the run, whereas Carter gets his proximity quite late through his chase.
Yeah, but Lee Barker, sorry, on his lead run, dropped down off the bank, completely missed clipping point 2. So judges going to take that into consideration that Carter couldn't get on the door because possibly a bad lead line. We're about to find out. Decision is in. Who's going to take it through to the top 16? Will it be the 2017 champion, or will it be the underdog, Lee Barker? Kieran, David and Ben slide them left for Barker, right for Carter. And it's unanimous. Lee Barker, ladies and gentlemen, takes out your 2017 champion. Judges, difficult one there, not the best runs from either guys.
Yeah, the first run there with Matt, Matt had a bit of an issue on entry, a big long drag of the handbrake. Allowed Lee get right on his door. And the only, from that point on, Lee was on a 7-3, very aggressive all through the first corner, through the first hairpin. But at the second hairpin, he has, as he transitions back, he loses angle, and he doesn't maintain the same angle as Matt has. So he loses a point there with a 6-4 after the first run. And on the second run there, Matt he didn't have proximity to the first half of the track. He closed in at the end all right, just enough to pull a 5-5, but not enough to overturn the first run.
So there we go, Matt Carter not doing enough. 2017 champion in that borrowed car, just couldn't do enough to take down Lee Barker. So he progresses through to the top 16. We move it along to our next battle. It will be Paul Smith to take on Scott Cartledge.
Yeah, I fancy this one to be a very hard fought battle. These two drivers going quite well this morning. Scott Cartledge, of course, very difficult to overturn in battle action. We've seen him go all the way in the past here, getting very deep into the latter stages of competition.
Yeah, but does Scott Cartledge still have that clutch issue? That's what we need to ask ourselves. Or is he going to go out there with a fixed car? It looks like he potentially has got a fixed car already. They're off the line. It will be Smokey Smith to lead in Scott Cartledge, a 2017 Pro-Am champion. As they fire it in. Whoa, big entry from Cartledge. Fires that car in a big angle, but loses some speed, Eddie.
Yeah, loses some speed, loses some ground, and needs to pull it back in here. Needs to make a dive onto the door of Paul Smokey Smith, who's looking incredibly fast, and a big error there from Scott Cartledge as he gets it all wrong into that second teardrop section of the circuit. But no issues for Paul Smith as he crossed the line in the Jap Speed Maxxis Tyre GT86.
No, as you can see, a big angle initiation there from Scott Cartledge. Paul Smokey Smith gets on a very good line, nice and high on the bank. Cartledge just not got that proximity, as you say, Eddie. And as they come down to the transition from 3 to 4, Cartledge goes very wide. Then looks like potentially a gear change issue or clutch issue. Looks like he carried the speed and couldn't slow the car down, and yeah, dropped wheels off track. So not good for Cartledge in the first half of this battle.
So they make it back to the line, and looks as though Cartledge happy to continue despite the potential for some clutch issues just lingering in that skyline. And it looks as though we are ready to go. Scott Cartledge to lead in Paul Smith. Paul Smith looking very comfortable on the track at the moment. Lose a little bit of ground off the start line, but look at this, bumper to bumper as they come down the stretch and throw it into that first corner. Cartledge on a very low line, not getting out as wide as the judges want, but glued to the door is Paul Smokey Smith, not giving an inch to Cartledge. As Cartledge gets a little bit bogged down, but Smith just an ever-presence all the way around the circuit in doing a phenomenal job in the chase position.
Yeah, unbelievable chase run there for Paul Smokey Smith. So we're going to go to our new double replay. Yeah, like you say, Eddie, Cartledge way down. You can see on the initiation the car gripped up. It had to drop down the bank ever so slightly, giving Smokey Smith the opportunity to get nice and close on the door. Carries a lot of speed as they come through clipping point 3. And look at this from Smokey Smith. Smokey Smith absolutely rides the door of Scott Cartledge's R33. Stays with him all the way across the line.
Even when Cartledge makes those errors, Paul Smith able to stay with him and not get caught. And a sign of a very capable chase driver. And really good stuff from him. So it looks as though the judges' scores are about to drop in onto our screen. Who's going through to that top 16? Will it be Paul Smith? Will it be Scott Cartledge? Slide him left for Cartledge, slide him right for Smith. Kieran, David and Ben, it's unanimous. Paul Smith is going through to the top 16. Give a round of applause to Scott Cartledge, putting in a big effort there despite some mechanical problems for him this morning. We got to go back to the judges though to talk us through the decision.
Yeah, so Paul Smith knocks a cone through the chicane, so any gap he had on initiation, we kind of discounted. However, after that, he still pulled an increased gap after that, which gave him some of an advantage. The real mistake was Carthage straightening up. It was a big mistake on his first run. On the second, it's a good chase from Smith, and he's not given a great lead run to follow, so he does very well. Again, takes the advantage there, so Paul Smith going through.
So there you go, Paul Smith getting the win and heading through to top 16 competition. We move it along to the next battle on the line. It will be Adam Simmons to take on Mike Marshall.
Yeah, these two guys, veterans of the British Drift Championship. Briefly talking to Mike Marshall just before the top 24, and he's feeling very relaxed, not taking it too serious, just out to have a little bit of fun and enjoy his drifting. You know what, guys like that are very dangerous because...
Yeah, I mean, listen, Mike Marshall's now feeling very, very comfortable in that new BMW 1 Series chassis that he's driving. Like I say, feeling confident, feeling relaxed, could be dangerous. But you know what, Adam Simmons is hungry for a podium, he's hungry for a win. They're off the line. Simmons to lead in Mike Marshall. As they come through the gears, Eddie, Mike Marshall tagging on the back end of that Slide Motorsport R33, and look at Mike Marshall.
Big dive down onto the door of Marshall, but now he starts to make a couple of errors, dropping a wheel. Getting a little bit caught and loses ground to Adam Simmons, who fires that Skyline through the circuit, scrubs the speed and gets back on the power through the final teardrop. And Marshall doing everything he can to try and get back into the fight here, but those errors on the first corner making the real difference, and Simo looking really confident out there.
Yeah, Adam Simmons carrying a lot of speed, Eddie. Very, very fast. We go back to our Samco Sport replay, and you can see this. Like you say, Mike Marshall just gets it a little bit wide on initiation, drops some wheels and loses speed. Adam Simmons absolutely powers away, though, and smokes those tri-ace tyres. And for me, looking very, very strong out there, Adam Simmons.
Yeah, like, I mean, even when he's scrubbing speed there, not off the throttle for very long, just a brief, you know, dab of the handbrake, and then straight back on the happy pedal. And gets himself what you'd have to imagine is a decent advantage going into the second half of this run.
Yeah, I mean, listen, to take an advantage in the lead position is very, very hard. Now we've swapped him around. Adam Simmons even in a stronger position to try and do more damage. He's in the chase position now, so if he can get nice and close on the door of Mike Marshall's BMW, this could go only one way for Adam Simmons. They're off the line. We're about to find out. It will be Mike Marshall to lead in Adam Simmons.
Yeah, and of course, a lot harder to gain an advantage from the lead position. Obviously, you have to put in as good a run as possible, but
look
Simmons
at this.
right on the door of that 1 Series BMW, and Marshall getting a little bit bullied here, but Simmons getting caught down the inside, the big straightening.
Yeah, Simmons making a huge error there, Eddie. Deviated offline, tried to cut the circuit, and almost come to a complete stop. Gets back on it, gets on the door. Give him a round of applause as they cross the line, Teesside.
Has that error from Simmons brought this one back into play? So they line up awaiting the judge's decision. Judge is still discussing this one, and of course, they give as much attention to these top 24 battles as they would to a final. Yeah, judge is looking for a replay on this one, so not clear cut.
Yeah, no, potentially seeing something that we didn't see, Eddie, and unbelievable proximity from Adam Simmons as he comes around this first turn. Nice initiation. No, wrong replay there, and it's slightly. So, judge is looking for the replay of the second run. So here we go. Yeah, look at this. Adam Simmons, very, very close and personal with Mike Marshall.
Yeah, showing lots of aggression.
Adam Simmons kind of darts away from the edge of the circuit, shortcuts the circuit, drops clipping point 3, and then finds himself in the wrong place, has to straighten Eddie, so not looking good.
I think that's a very significant mistake, and I think that could put it in the balance after the wheel drops on the first run for Mike Marshall. So could we see this one?
Could we see this one go one more time? You guys at Teesside, do you want to see him go one more time? We're going to need it better than that. We're working on him.
We're working on him. Look, we're only top 24. They're saving their energy, we know it.
Yep.
Big crowds here though in Teesside. We want to thank you all for coming out and joining us here for round 2 of the British Drift Championship. We are celebrating 10 years of competitive action here in Britain. And of course, back where it all started here in Teesside Autodrome. It looks as though we have a decision from our judges in.
Yeah.
Slide him left for Marshall, right for Simmons, who is going through. Kieran, David and Ben all going in favour of Adam Simmons. Adam Simmons taking it through to the top 16. We need to go to the judges for an explanation on this one because that certainly wasn't clear-cut. Errors from both drivers.
Yeah, it was close enough in the end. Adam on entry, first of all, crossed slightly more than halfway through the track, so I knocked him back a point for that. But Mike was nowhere. He dropped the wheel on between 1 and 2, and his wheel was off for quite a good while. He had no proximity, and he cut the track to try and gain back. So even with the point taken off Adam, he still comes away with a 7.3 after the first run. Second run, Adam in the chase position. He has good proximity all the way until clip 3, where he seems to make a big error, goes down into the inside of the track, almost straightens up slightly. At that point, he was on a strong 7.3 until that error swung the advantage back to Mike Marshall, and it kind of finished that way, and it was advantage 6-4 to Mike in the second one, so there wasn't a lot in it in the end, but I think Adam did enough over the 2 runs.
So there you go, Adam Simmons taking the win and going through, and wow, I mean, top 16 heating up. We're not going to give it away just yet, but the next battle, ladies and gentlemen, nope, this isn't Pro-Am competition, this is Pro competition, and this is a rematch from yesterday. Ryan Caldwell to take on Ian Rutherford.
Yes, and Ian Rutherford with an opportunity for almost instant redemption, exactly, within 24 hours of yesterday's battle for 3rd and 4th place. We have these two guys back on the line, ready to go, striving for a place in top 16. We are going to have a Pro-Am driver in that top 16. Who's going to be though? Is it going to be Rutherford? Is it going to be Caldwell? Caldwell through the chicane. Rutherford to give chase. Down the stretch they come. Big flick entry from Caldwell, but comes off that line a little bit early and tries to take it out to that wide line. Rutherford now losing a little bit of ground. Will we see him make a dive down the inside? We certainly do, but washes wide.
Oh, wow, Rutherford dropping
very
wheels,
wide.
Eddie. Yeah, Rutherford dropping wheels now. Going to play catch-up again as Caldwell looks strong out front. Stands on the accelerator of that Quinn's M4 S15 and takes it across the line. Unfortunately, not the cleanest battle there for Ian Rutherford.
No, certainly not, and just losing that ground early. You can see there, just shoots forward, just trying to hunt down that door, but this is where it kind of goes wrong for him. They come off the bank here, and Caldwell doing a nice job getting wide, but Rutherford just failing to screw up that speed appropriately, washing wide and getting offline, and from there, Caldwell just sails into the distance in that Quinn M Sport S15.
So we've swapped him around. Ian Rutherford now will lead out Ryan Caldwell.
Yeah, and if you joined us yesterday, you're a regular follower of the British or Irish Drift Championships, you will know just how good Ryan Caldwell is in the chase position.
Yeah, he's deadly, Eddie, and as they come off the line, we're about to find out how deadly he is as Ian Rutherford fires that through the chicane. That BMW supercharged V8 180. Look at this from Ryan Caldwell, right with him. Door on door as they come through Clipping Point 1. This is the perfect lead line from Ian Rutherford. As Ryan Caldwell now starts to apply the pressure. They come into Clipping Point 4. Caldwell pedaling that car. Rutherford goes wide again as Caldwell almost gets himself caught.
Yeah, a little tap on the front brake just to slow that car down and allow him to transition in behind Rutherford as they cross the line. Rutherford and Caldwell. You know what? Rutherford raised the game there, but Caldwell more than capable of meeting the match. Not sure what I was trying to say there.
I don't know what you were trying to say.
So judges' scores coming through. Who's going through to the top 16? Will it be Rutherford? Will it be Caldwell? Slide him left for Rutherford. Kieran, David and Ben. All in favour of your winner, Ryan Caldwell. Ryan Caldwell moving on to the top 16, and you know what? I'm not going to announce it and ruin it just yet, but he is facing somebody very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, a very interesting top 16 is happening right now. But like Eddie says, we're not going to give that away just yet. We're going to keep action moving right along. We go to the start line where we will see two close friends going at it. It will be Martin Wonnacott to take on Ollie Elmore. 702 horsepower to take down 700 horsepower. JZX 100 R33 Skyline. Two big cars, two big personalities.
Yeah.
That was a joke, Eddie. Two of the quietest, politest men on the grid. You have no comeback to that.
I've nothing.
You have nothing.
But here we go. They may be quiet off track, but certainly it is all noise, all action when they are on track. Wonnacott to lead in Elmore as the highest qualifier. And here we go.
Yeah, as Wanacott fires it in, that unmistakable wing. Oh, and Ollie Elmore almost overcooking it, putting himself into nearly a spin as Wanacott looks strong out front, just deviating off the line ever so slightly.
Oh, but a big error there from Wanacott. This is a really scrappy run as Ollie Elmore takes a very inside line, getting caught as well. Neither driver performing to perfection here.
Yeah, no, like you say, Eddie, very, very scrappy from both those guys. Let's go back to our Samco Sport replay. Look at this, Ollie Elmore just overcooks it on initiation, but Wanacott way down on the bank, not nice and high like judges wanted to see. Not as good as his qualifying run. Gets back into it, but then look at this, drops 2 wheels on that white line on clipping point 4. Manages to pull it back together again, but Elmore behind is just very scrappy, trying to play catch up.
Yeah, not really in the fight at all, Elmore, on this run, and he's got some work to do. Unfortunately for him, in the lead position, very hard to force an error now in the second half of this battle. He is going to have to pull out an absolute stomper and hope for a big error from Wanacott in the chase position. But Wanacott has looked very steady here this weekend, Ian.
Yeah, he has looked very, very steady this weekend and driving the best we've seen him driving in a long while. So we are ready to go back to the start line. We're going to get these guys swapped back around. Also, judges want to see another replay.
So judges appear to be looking at just this entry here, just wanting to be
I mean,
sure that there wasn't.
Just picked up on it. Martin Wanacott handbraked for quite a long time after clipping point 1. So judges, basically, from what I can take away from this, are going to be saying Wanacott is slowing in an acceleration area. The only de-acceleration area on the circuit is as they come down off the bank into clipping point 3. So did Ollie Elmore nearly over-rotate because he see Martin Wanacott slowing? That is what they're going to take into consideration there.
Yeah, and that could be what the deciding factor is in this. So could it be that Ollie Elmore has the advantage going into the second half of this battle rather than the deficit? We will have to run the second half of the battle before we find out exactly what way the judges saw it. Elmore in the lead position. Wanacott to give chase. We await Marshall's instructions to give the go-ahead for the second half of this battle. And they are still discussing it.
They are still deliberating it, Eddie. They are completely split across the grid on that one. So we do get the thumbs up from our start line marshal. They are good to go. It will be Ollie Elmore to lead in Martin Wanacott for a spot in top 16. Who's going to take it?
Here we go, down the stretch they come. As Elmore leads in, Wanacott, and Wanacott losing some ground here. Needs to pull his socks up and get back into this one. Fires onto that big angle as they slow down into that fourth clipping zone. And Ollie Elmore on a wing and a prayer, putting in a stomper of a lead run here. Hand out the window as he crossed the line. Guys, put your hands together for Ollie Elmore and Martin Wanacott. Big second half to that battle, and just the action that we want to see here at the British Drift Championship.
Yeah, just a few mistakes there, Martin Wanacott and Ollie Elmore. As you can see, we're going to go back to our Samco Sport replay so you guys at home and in attendance can see exactly what we're looking at, the double replay. Big separation from Elmore and Wanacott on the initiation. Wanacott then makes a big dive. Look at this, accelerates hugely as they come into clipping point 3. Nice line from Ollie Elmore, gets nice and wide on clipping point 4. But then from here on out, it looks like Wanacott struggles. Look at this, makes a big error there, almost straightens. And then as they come across the line, look at that, big straighten for Wanacott. He's almost straight as they drive across the finish line. So not looking good right now for Martin Wanacott. The judges wanted to see a different view, potentially. No, they're happy. Decision is in. Left for Elmore, right for Wanacott. Who's taking it through to the top 16? David, Ben, and Kieran. It's unanimous. Ollie Elmore takes the win and goes through to top 16. Judges, we come to you.
Yeah, so just not that I would ever correct you, Ian, on what you're saying, but essentially clip 1 is not a deceleration zone. What we've explained to the drivers in briefing is that it's a momentum zone. Essentially, they will initiate there, but they shouldn't excessively slow because you're continuing on to it's not a tight corner, you're trying to build up speed and momentum to get up the bank. When Martin initiates, he cautiously initiates to the point that he stays on the handbrake well past clipping point 1. He actually doesn't go anywhere up the bank at all. He's lost all his speed completely, and when Ollie is in that situation, he's trying to dive in on his door, he's not expecting the car in front of him to stay slow, because Elmore would never be able to get up the bank in the chase position if the car is in his way. So he can't carry any momentum. And then for the rest of the corner, Elmore has to go on all 4 brakes and then try and catch himself back up. Martin has another mistake when he washes on clip 4 to 5 as well. Sorry, right, 3 to 4. So it was an 8-2 from all of us to Elmore after the first run. And then in the second, you know, Monaco doesn't give himself anything to get back into the fight. He actually ends up with a disadvantage, straightens, makes some mistakes. And Ollie, not a perfect lead run by any means, but a solid one at the same time. So the mistake was on the initiation. It's something we've explained excessively to the drivers in briefing, that you cannot slow there. He must carry momentum. And, you know, compared to qualifying, Martin was coming through there at top speed. He was very cautious there, and it caught him out.
There we go. I did say acceleration zone there, Dave.
Acceleration zone.
Acceleration zone.
Well, then you're right, Ian.
I
We're
am
both
right.
right. That's all
We're
that
both
matters.
right. That's what that matters. just gonna stand my ground there. So we're gonna move to the next.
You don't mind those judges, okay?
Yeah. You don't
I'm
watch them.
sorry,
You
I'm
don't
sorry.
watch them,
Bullies.
lads. Yeah, bullies.
Bullies is all they are.
Getting intimidated from the tower by Kieran Hines.
Kieran Hines, gang leader.
Yeah, throwing
Stuff at us, but we got to move on to what is going to be a very interesting battle. Matt Stevenson, a seasoned pro, coming up against Pro-Am qualifier from yesterday, Damien Wilkinson. Now, Damien Wilkinson coming to the BDC to try and gain an IDC Pro-Am license. He has got that in the bag. Can he take down one of the veterans of the sport, Matt Stevenson, and get himself into a pro top 16 where he would face Matthew Denham?
I mean, Damien Wilkinson right now is living the dream. Can it continue as they come off the line? He's got to go through Matt Stevenson first. Matt Stevenson to lead in Damien Wilkinson. As Damien Wilkinson initiates and tucks right up on the side.
Yeah, starts to lose a little bit of ground though, as Stevenson looks really fast on that bank. Now, when we see a dive from Damien Wilkinson as he tries to get back into this one, it looks as though he doesn't have an answer for the pace of that E92. And unfortunately, Damien Wilkinson giving away a lot of horsepower here to Matt Stevenson, and as he crosses the line, yeah, just not the power and the speed in that car.
Initiation was absolutely perfect. Look at that, tucks in off on the door, and then as Matt Stevenson stands on the accelerator, look at this big separation, loses 2-3 car lengths as they come down into division point 3, just can't gain it back, Eddie, just doesn't have the grip in the car to get alongside Matt Stevenson, and Matt Stevenson looking very good on a very nice fluid line.
And you have to remember as well, like this 180SX driven by Damien Wilkinson, not pushing the same power as some of the other Quinn M Sport chassis that are out on the grid as well. So it's a little bit more of a basic build and a modest 450 brake horsepower in comparison to, you know, some of the bigger builds that we see on the grid. Now we switch it around. Wilkinson in that lead position. He has his line dialed in, and it will be up to Matt Stevenson now to try and chase down a slower car. So this one all but over by any means, as Matt Stevenson jumps the line, tries to get the go-ahead on Damien Wilkinson. Wilkinson throws it in a nice line here. Can he take it high in the bank? He certainly can. But look at this, Stevenson right there with him, and a perfect match for the pace as he scrubs that speed now into the tighter sections of the course. And Wilkinson just unable to get rid of Matt Stevenson. They almost make, a little bit of a straighten there. Then some tires in from Wilkinson, and a few errors there just towards the end of the run.
Yeah, very, very good run there from Damien Wilkinson. Matt Stevenson put on a masterclass of chase driving there. As we go to our double replay, look at this big separation in the first half of the battle. But look at Matt Stevenson all the way up on the side end of that Quinn's M Sport S13. Nice and close, doesn't really let up any room, Eddie, and it gets much, much closer as they transition down the middle circuit. Look, makes a nice dive. Puts on a bit too much angle there, does Matt Stevenson, but it kind of anticipated that Wilkinson was going to go very wide and just drop wheels on circuit there. So good driving from Matt Stevenson. Damien Wilkinson, you know what, just living the dream. Think he's just going to be chuffed to be out there in pro competition.
Absolutely, a huge weekend for him, and he will be going home from the BDC a very happy man now. Judges' results are in. Slide him left for Wilkinson, right for Stevens. Kieran goes Stevenson, David goes Stevenson, Ben Manuel goes with Matt Stevenson. Matt Stevenson for Slide Motorsport takes it through to the top 16. Unfortunately for Damien Wilkinson, his weekend will end there, but we go back to the judges for a decision on that one.
Yep, you're right what you say there, Eddie. Matt had a really, really good lead run, and Damien had no answer for that. Missed a few clips. He could have done a bit of a dive, but again, just didn't have the proximity. And then reversal, we had a 7-3. Matt put a really good proximity in. Damien did a good lead lap, but he couldn't overturn it. So 7-3 advantage Matt Stevenson.
So there you go from the judges. Valiant effort from Damien Wilkinson, but his weekend will end there. But you know what? I think a lot learned from that young man this weekend. Now, our final battle in the top 24 means one position remaining in the top 16. Simon Perry taking on Peter Hayden in a battle of
David and Goliath.
David and Goliath.
It's exactly what it is. David and Goliath. Yeah, Peter Hayden in that little BMW E36 compact, 3.2 M3 engine under the bonnet. Simon Perry, R35 GTR, what can he do? That car's had problems. Can it hold together for Perry? As Peter Hayden brings the fight. Perry fires that car in now. Has Hayden got the grip to stick it on the door of that R35? And Hayden not doing a too bad a job, Eddie.
Yeah, so far so good from Hayden. Actually on a better line than Perry, taking a wider line throughout the circuit, but now needs to make a dive and try and get some impact and get some door-to-door action as they come through the latter stages of the circuit and cross the line. Certainly not perfect in the lead position from Simon Perry. Peter Hayden not bringing the proximity, but certainly getting on a nice wide and high line, particularly on the bank section here. I see him filling that second clipping zone.
Perry, though, completely drops clipping point 3, though, as you can see there on our Samco Sport replay. Struggles to get out to clipping point 4, so judge is going to take into consideration that Perry's not on the best lead line.
Yeah, and of course, not being on a good lead line makes it more difficult
Very
for
hard
the
to chase,
the
yeah.
chase driver as well. So we switch him around. Now it'll be up to Perry to chase down Hayden. Hayden, of course, with that BMW M3 engine-powered E36 compact.
Yeah, as they come off the line, final run in top 24. Who's going to take the final spot in top 16? Is it going to be Hayden? Is it going to be Perry? We're about to find out. Hayden fires it in. Perry right with him, though. And Simon Perry way down on the bank, trying to gain some proximity by carrying that speed. Almost contact as they come in. Perry doing an absolutely sterling job chasing that slower car. Can they say door to door as Perry rides the foot brake? Peter Hayden on a very nice lead line as they come through the final turn. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Simon Perry and Peter Hayden.
Yeah, really good job there from both drivers. Simon Perry bringing that proximity all the way throughout the circuit, particularly at the end there where he's glued to the door. Now you can see our side-by-side replay on your monitors. And you can just see that proximity from Perry the whole way around. Could that be the difference maker? His lead line, though, as we mentioned, Ian, not perfect on that first half of the battle. Which means not giving Hayden a whole lot to chase either. So Hayden obviously in that lead position, putting that car right where the judges wanted to see it.
So as we wait for the judges' decisions to drop in, give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. They're out of the car. They can hear you. They are having fun. So are we. I hope you guys are. Decision is in. Who's going to take it, Hayden or Perry? Kieran, David and Ben, and it is unanimous. Simon Perry, ladies and gentlemen, gets the win. Simon Perry gets the win and goes through to the top 16. Judges, we're going to go to you. A very good battle from both those guys.
Yeah, right, the first one there, Simon had an okay lead run. It wasn't the highest qualifying scoring run there because 3 to 4 he could have been a little bit wider. But the main problem here, of course, was Peter Hayden had no proximity at all. There was quite a big separation there. So after first run, Simon is on an advantage of 6-4. On the second run, Simon has good proximity. Now, the biggest issue with the second run is Peter Hayden's lead line from 1 to 2. He's left foot braking but coming up towards clip 2. You can actually see his wheel locked and smoke coming off it. And it does cause Simon to actually have to back slightly out of it or to dive down to the inside. He dealt with that fairly well, but it was a mistake by Peter. But Simon maintains proximity to the rest run really well. Almost overtakes him at the end, which would have been a 10-0 because it would have been an illegal overtake, but he was right beside him. But he held back enough to take a strong advantage in the second one as well.
So there we go, Eddie. That does round off a top 24 competition. That means we have 16 drivers ready to go head-to-head all the way through to the final later on this afternoon. And I say later on this afternoon, Eddie, and that's because we've got a treat for you guys here in attendance and watching on the live feed.
Yes, a very special treat that we don't often see, but we do see it here at Teesside Autodrome, and it is the team drift competition.
Yeah, team drift competition. So, as always, these guys are never one to miss out on the team drift competition. First up, we have Team Slide, which consists of Matt Stevenson, Jason Clark, Adam Simmons, and Stu Jones. And then Team 2, we have Dominic Gates, Daryl Jones, Alistair Sutton, and Mike Marshall.
Team 3, and do you know what? I'm loving the name, okay? Team Luna Chicks. Luna Chicks. So
Is it guys?
It's all guys.
It's all guys, yep.
4 guys on the team, and it's Tessa Whittock, Jolene McDonald, who was so impressive yesterday and very unfortunate not to progress, Zana Young, and Julie Robinson.
Wow.
You know what? I'm very excited to see those 3 chicks out on track.
4 chicks.
4 chicks.
4 chicks.
4 chicks.
So you guys in attendance, you ready to see some team drift battles?
Oh,
Come on, Teesside. I know it's cold out there, but you guys are having fun. We're having fun in the tower. Teesside, are you ready for some team drift competition?
There we go.
That's more like it, Eddie. That's more like it. Well, before we send any cars, we want to give a huge thank you to all our sponsors. As always, Eddie, Jap Speed, M-Tech Brakes, Funk Motorsport, JDM Distro, AM Details, VP Racing Fuels, Link Engine Management, Samco Sport, Brian James Trailers, Cosmos Racing Wheels, Simpson, Zestino Tyres.
And of course, Monster Energy Fueling, British Drifting, and
Just
Irish
wait for
Drifting.
you to slip in with that one, Eddie. Just wait for you to slip in with that one. So, yeah, and obviously, if you want to see some more in this action, tickets on sale right now for round 3 next month. Look at that. Look at that. Just like that. Driftland tickets on sale. So it does look like our judges are just going to get their scoreballs ready, Eddie, for this. Ready, Eddie, for this.
Ready, Eddie. And
Ready,
very
Eddie.
important, okay,
What is important?
what's important to note is that the judges will be scoring out of 10. They can each award 10 points.
Okay.
We have seen scores of 11 in the past from Kieran Hines.
No one's a 10, though.
Very,
according to
very
Ryan
rare.
Apothecary.
And of course, Ryan Apothecary isn't here, so you know the scores could be a little bit higher than normal. But you guys in attendance have the ability to change and overturn the judges' decisions. So that means you guys got to be a little bit noisy and show us that you still got a little bit of blood racing through the veins. So before we get going, are you guys ready for some team drift action? There we go. They're waking up a little bit.
They're waking up a little bit, yeah.
So
Does look like.
we're waiting to hear if Team Slide Motorsport are ready to go.
Yep, Team Slide Motorsport apparently on the start line are ready to go. If you remember, last year these guys went opposite ways around the track. Momentous moment in team drift battles.
Yeah, I was a little bit shocked.
You closed your eyes a
I
little
had
bit?
to close my eyes, and you gave me a big hug and took me under your wing.
Yeah,
and,
I was like, it's going to be fine, Eddie. Don't need to cry. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, but you know what? They got through it, and it was a magical moment. But they've been told and warned that it is not allowed. So,
Yes,
I don't know if they have something up their sleeve here for this, but you can see being. Look, tactics comes into play here in team drift. It's not just about going out and just nailing, trying to do the run as best you can or whatever. You got to put the slower car in front and allow the faster cars to come in behind. So we're going to see Stu Jones, followed by Adam Simmons, then Matt Stevenson, and bringing it up the rear will be Jason Clark.
So there we go. Those guys on the line are ready to go. You can see our start line Marshall Melks has his flag out. You guys ready for this? Come on, Teesside, make some noise. We're ready to send cars. You can see the camera phone's out. I know all these guys want to see is a crash. That's all they want to see.
Yeah, but
they don't want to see drifting.
I know how to get them to make some noise. If we should put in a rule that if they don't make noise, we get our live stream to go around and just follow right at all their faces, so that they're all on camera and embarrass them all.
Yeah, they'd love that. Sure. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. First team off. Team Slide Motorsport, Matt Stevenson, Jason Clark, Adam Simmons, Stu Jones. Here they come.
And it's actually Matt Stevenson bringing up the rear. Jason Clark's RX-7 hit in the background as Stu Jones leading them in, and this is looking really good. Look at the aggression. 4 cars side by side, perfectly aligned on the back.
Wow, almost an accident there from Adam Simmons. Adam Simmons makes contact with Stu Jones and spins as Stu Jones finishes up the run.
Slide or die motorsport. And you know what? That was looking good up until that point, but a big error. Jason Slide and Adam Simmons getting it all wrong in the mid-pack there. and I think they're gonna do 2 runs back to back. Is that correct?
So no, they're not going to get them back to back, Eddie. Unfortunately, they are going to have to wait till everyone else has done their run. So
Okay, we're going to go up to our judges to get a score.
Yeah, can we get a score from our judges? What do you guys think? Do you think that was good? You could give us a boo if you didn't like it. Oh, they're actually booing. They're booing
As a
Team
former
Slide.
slide driver, I'd give that a 1 at best.
Boo.
Adam Simmons should be demoted from the team at least.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not. It was almost. It was either going to be great or a crash, and it was neither. So I was disappointed. So I'm going to give it a 3.
Wow.
3
So
out of 10.
a 1 and a 3. And Kieran Hines, what are we saying?
Look, I don't know. Only 1 finished, so I think 1 is probably a good score.
So a 1 again. Wow, and that's a massive score.
Yeah, 5 out of 30. So yeah, no,
Not looking good.
the rest of the teams are really up against it here.
So it does look like on the line we do have Team Luna Chicks, Tessa Whittock up front, Jolene McDonald behind, Zana Young, and then followed up the rear, Julie Robinson. So they're on the start line. You guys ready to see these girls go at it? Here they come off the start line. Tessa Whittock, Jolene McDonald, Zana Young.
Yeah, big gap between the first 2 and second 2 cars, and
Oh, and problems with Jolene McDonald's car.
yeah, Jolene McDonald not able to get it around the circuit, and not the girl-on-girl action we were hoping for here, Ian.
No, not indeed, Eddie. So as they finish over the line, yeah, you know what, Eddie? No one's really come
Nope,
out yet.
yeah.
Stole the limelight, have they?
No, certainly not. We haven't seen any fireworks yet in the team drift competition. Certainly a lot of errors there from Team Luna Chicks.
Ben Manuel, you're a
Bad driver.
A bad driver, yeah.
Oh, so nice to have compliments from previous washed-up driver yourself. 3 people finished. It's a 3 from me at best.
So there we go, a 3 from Ben Manuel. Dave Egan.
It's nice to see that there's 4 very talented young ladies in the championship, so I'm going to give it a 4.
So a very generous 4 there. And Kieran Hines' face says it all to me. Kieran Hines.
Yeah, at the risk of being slagged by everybody from the UK, I'm giving them a 3.
So a 10 out of 30.
So a 10 out of 30. So not looking good. Up next, Team Driftland consists of Ricky Lawrence, Mark Gemmell, yeah, and Christian Christensen's just looks like he's hopped in his car and thought, you know what, I'll give this a shot. I'll have a little bit more seat time. This could go either way right now. The 2 Driftland drivers making their way, chased up by the madman from Denmark. Big initiation there from Mark Gemmell.
Yeah, and Ricky Lawrence throws it onto the door, and look at this line though, bringing it up the rear, chasing down the pack is Christian Christensen. Little bit of touching there and rubbing from the 2 Driftland drivers. And again, Christian having to shut it down. A little bit scrappy once again.
Yeah, not the cleanest run from those guys. Christian Christensen just got it wrong ever so slightly, and yeah, had to shut it down, like you say, Eddie.
Yeah, Team Driftland there with the threesome, and you know what? It just leaves it open for our final team to really put on a show.
Ben Manuel.
And steal the limelight.
3 cars, 2 finish. It's a 3 at best. Again.
That is not quick maths. Dave Egan.
I think they should rename themselves Team Brexit, because UK was trying to get away from Europe the whole way around the track there.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
I'm going to give that a 5 just for the 2 boys from Driftland. I think Christian was suffering with car problems, so a 5 for me.
A 5 from Dave Egan and Kieran Hines.
I thought the Scots wanted to stay in Europe. But anyway,
we won't get into that. We won't get into that.
it's a 3 from me as well.
It's a 3 from Kieran Hines.
11.
Political.
11 out of 10.
So, Team M&M on the line, Eddie, consists of Alistair Sutton, Mike Marshall, Darryl Jones, and Dominic Gates. So they get the thumbs up from our guys. Don't forget, if you give them a big cheer, ladies and gentlemen, that does affect the judges' score.
Yeah, Sutton leading them in. Oh, Sutton taking a very shallow line here, almost like he's trying to get away from the rest of the team.
But looking good though, you know, in some kind of formation now. Can they bunch up as they come round? This looks a lot tidier. Dominic Gates gets it back out. And they all transition at roughly the same time. This looking a lot smaller. Oh, Dominic Gates.
Dominic Gates struggling there, but Daryl Jones doing a good job in second position. Mike Marshall crossed the line. And you know what? They get it around.
Not bad. They're not bad.
Look, it wasn't perfect, but can it beat an 11 is the question.
Ben Manuel.
Quite good, to be fair. All 4 got round, bit of proximity, a few little wobbles. It's a 6 from me.
Wow, a 6. Dave Egan.
Yeah, 4 cars drifting. I think that's the bare minimum you'd want from a team drift. So I'm going to go with a 6 as well.
So a 6 from Dave Egan and Kieran Hines.
And I'll make it a third 6.
And 6 again. So there you go.
6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 is 18. There you go. So they get 18 out of 30. Oh yeah.
Wow, okay. So,
Darts to do.
so it looks like we are ready to go again, and Team Lunatics are missing a member. They've gone to a threesome. Unfortunately, Jolene McDonald as a misfire. I don't know why everyone is looking at me in the tower like there's something wrong with that. Perverted, these guys, thirsty. Off the line, Julie Robinson to lead in Zana Young, chased up by Tessa Whittock. As Julie Robinson, so good separation from these guys. Oh, Zana Young has to straighten, coming into clipping point 3. Tessa keeping it going.
Yeah, just about managing to keep this one alive here. As Julie Robinson takes it across the line.
And Tess with a hand out the window to the judges. Yeah, looking good. Yeah, I like that. Nice.
Yeah.
A few mistakes from Zana, but yeah, apart from that, good. Ben Manuel.
You enjoy a bit of girl-on-girl action, Ben, don't you?
Drifting, absolutely. It's good to see 3 women getting round and putting a good lap in. It's a 5 from me, is that?
So a 5 from Ben Manuel. Dave Egan.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. There was a couple of mistakes, but it was quite exciting. I'm going to go with a 5 as well.
A 5 from Dave Egan. And Kieran Hines.
I think it's easier when you've got 3 instead of 4, so I think a 5. 3, 4, 5. Hey, that worked well, didn't it?
Eddie's broken, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie's broken. So there we go.
So a 15.
A 15. So they scored more points with 1 car down. So unfortunately, Jolene McDonald not being able to get into it. So we go back to the line. Team Driftland. Team Driftland swapping it around this time. Ricky Lawrence to lead, Mark Gemmell to give chase. And Christian Christensen going to go for it again, Eddie. Puts a possible broken car, but he's not scared.
Certainly not scared to get involved here is Christensen. Little weight transfer from Ricky Lawrence. Oh, but Gemmell getting it wrong. And Christensen almost making the overtake on the bank. Oh, and a spin from Gemmell.
This can only be a 1, surely. Now, Ricky Lawrence, the only car to finish it up.
Yeah, a 1 at best, Ian. A 1 at best. Oh, and a spin from...
Nice, a 180. Throws in a 180.
180. Was he across the line? Oh, crash.
Wow.
My God. Just looks like they got away with that one because front end crash. That could have been a lot more serious.
Ben, so guys, listen, give them a round of applause. Team Driftland wrecking their cars for your entertainment right now. Ben Manuel saying that they may have potentially have scored the highest points because of a crash. Ben Manuel.
I completely agree. The comedy factor for doing a 360, not informing your teammates and crashing into them is absolutely comedy gold. That gets an 8 from me.
So an 8 from Ben Manuel. Dave Egan doesn't look impressed.
It was like you could see it happening for about 40 feet. There was nothing we could do. Guys, look, they put their cars on the line for entertainment's sake, and that's very impressive. That's a 6.
But the score.
It's a 6.
A 6. A 6.
Kieran Hines.
I didn't even see it. I was looking the other way.
Look at the replay, Kieran, on the screen right now. The replay, look.
Okay, right. That's just a lot of smoke. I don't know.
Oh, it's completely blocking the track, and yeah, look at this. Mark Gemmell, boom, bam.
Oh, God.
Oh, it rips the wheel off of his car. That's insane.
Look, it's a 5 for me.
So a 5 from Kieran Hines.
So a 19.
Wow, they're currently leading. They're currently leading.
Yeah, and all of that happened after the finish line, so, you know, outside the scoring zone. What did you guys think? Yep, you know what?
So that's a sign to any other team drift members that just the crashing wins.
Yeah, so just drive around the circuit and then crash
just
into
hit
each other
each other.
after the start line.
In front of the crowd so they can appreciate it.
Exactly. I like the way the crowd thinks.
So we're just going to get Mark Gemmel's car removed, as you can see there. Not much left of it now. Ricky Lawrence just lent him a hand. Look, buddy, it's just a wheel.
Well, he's going to have to get this fixed for the final. Because it looks as though they're going to go to the final unless we see a higher score than 19.
So Mark Gemmel back in his car. They're going to try and winch that car back on.
So don't forget, if you're in attendance and you want to check out the new BDC or Drift Games merchandise range, head over to the BDC shop where Jess and Jordan will look after you. And of course, if you're watching at home online, check out the full range on driftgames.life, www.driftgames.life. You can also check out the Drift Games podcast on the website, where you can hear myself, Mike Leeson, Josh Holdsworth, and CEO of the British and Irish Drift Championships, David Egan, talking SH1T about drifting.
It's very entertaining, Eddie.
It is pretty entertaining,
Pretty entertaining.
if I do say so myself.
So we're just trying to get Mark Gemmel's car on the recovery truck. As you can see, some significant damage, Eddie.
Yes, and all for the sake of Team Drift. But you know what? It wouldn't be Team Driftland without a little bit of
crashing.
Yeah, because that's what Driftland's all about, really, isn't it?
It is all about crashing, and don't forget, we are back there next month, 14th and 15th of July. Tickets on sale now for Driftland, round 3 of the British Drift Championship. Like you say, Eddie, this weekend is going to cement some scores for some people in the championship. You know, Martin Richards looking strong. Dwayne McKeever definitely going to try and continue that winning streak. But
yeah, Matt Carter out of competition in top 24, though, very interestingly.
yeah,
And we're just going to
as we go to Teesside, as we go to Driftland, we get to Driftland, that is really the definitive answer there. As soon as Driftland is over, the winners of that, if you're already at the top of the championship, there's no real way of getting knocked out of it, do you know what I mean? Unless it's too close to call, but it never really is. And
so we take an opportunity as well just to look forward to some of the top 16 battles that we have up for grabs here this afternoon. The first of those will see Martin Richards taking on Brett Perry, a very exciting prospect, that one. The second battle will see Ollie Evans taking on Lee Barker. Then we'll have Richard Grindrod taking on Paul Smith. Jason Clark and Adam Simmons will battle it out in a all-team slide motorsport battle. Then the battle of the Northern Irish guys, Dwayne McKeever versus Ryan Caldwell. I'm very excited to see that one. Kevin Quinn and Ollie Elmore, Matt Denham and Matt Stevenson, and finally Aramis Vasquez, who has looked so impressive, qualifying in second position, taking on Simon Perry, who of course has been having some mechanical difficulties here this weekend. And that is our top 16 to look forward to after Team Drift has been completed. So lots of exciting battles to keep you guys entertained.
yep, we've just got one more team drift battle left to go, and that will be Team M&M Engineering. Unfortunately, Team Slide Motorsport opting not to do a second run, Eddie.
Yes, which will mean that they are out after scoring only a 5 on the first run. So at the moment, we have two teams scoring a 19 and an 18, and let's be fair, Team M&M don't even need to go back out on track because they're already through to the final of the Team Drift competition.
So we can just see Mark Gemmel's car on the recovery truck. Almost. Very slowly and tentatively. And sitting on the start line, patiently waiting, is Alistair Sutton.
So this is what happens when, you know, you get a little bit of a rush of blood to the head and you do stupid things. You crash the car.
You get a little bit excited.
And then everybody has to wait.
But it's all in the fun of drifting.
Yeah, all in the name of drifting and in keeping the crowd entertained. Are you guys entertained by the Team Drift competition? And who's looking forward to our top 16?
Some people.
Some people.
Some people are.
So
some of them already.
Half the crowd came here to enjoy the drift. The other half aren't sure why they're here at all.
No, some of them are completely lost. Just completely lost on their way. You see Martin Monacott in the crowd there, enjoying the views, supporting the drifting.
So just to go back to our judges, we've seen you know, some really good qualifying runs, and then obviously some of our drivers battling in the top 24. Who are the standout drivers for you this weekend, and who do you think are the ones to watch as the competition progresses from top 16 onwards?
Normally, I would say, you know, you're looking at your favourites, and when you start the competition, you think, oh, Dwayne McKeever, Matt Carter, but we haven't seen a lot of Dwayne McKeever with his missing the first qualifying run. Matt Carter is eliminated. I think this is probably as open as it gets going into a top 16, because, to be honest, everyone that's got there is driving very, very well. This track is quite familiar to most of the guys on the grid. Machinery is pretty much even across the range in terms of speed and grip. From me, we've been looking across runs today saying, you know, if you look at the likes of Jason Clark and stuff, these guys used to be underdogs. Now they're putting in runs that are top 4 in qualifying. So I think we're in for a very difficult evening of judging, because everyone's really on it here. And with the speed and commitment they're coming into that first corner on, it's going to be really crazy to watch.
Yeah, exactly. As like Dave says, as we move through this now into top 16, action's going to be heating up. These guys are going to be pushing really, really hard. Like you say, Jason Clark, you know, the dark horse, someone to, you know, watch out for. But he has got to go through his teammate Adam Simmons first before he makes it into the Grade 8 and potentially onto the podium later on.
Yeah, Adam Simmons, of course, has been looking very confident out there. He's already come through a battle to get into that top 16, taking down former champion Mike Marshall. So definitely a driver on form here as well this weekend, but that's going to be a very interesting one. We will have a member of Team Teesside going into that Grade 8, which is great, obviously, for those guys. They will be delighted.
Yeah, and just one more time, I will remind you, tickets are on sale right now for round 3 of the British Drift Championship at Driftland. Don't forget, get online.
We will also be back on your screens as well next weekend for the Drift Masters Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of the tickets as well for the rest of the season are on sale. Before we get into that, Eddie, yeah, tickets for our round at Three Sisters and the final at England versus Ireland.
We know who's going to come out on top there.
England at Rockingham Motor Speedway. And yes, Eddie, like you say, more action to come from me, you, and Dave Egan next weekend. So big stuff happening there. But it looks like we have got some action ready to happen on circuit now, as we've got Team M&M just lining up.
Yes, Team M&M headed by Alistair Sutton in the front position, followed by Darryl Jones. Then it's Dominic Gates, and bringing it up the rear is Mike Marshall. And they are just waiting for the green flag from Malks, who gives the go-ahead. We are go. Team Drift, the final run of qualifying for that final, where these guys will come back out on track before our final runs of the day. Here we go. Sutton, Jones, Gates, and Marshall. High on the bank from Sutton and Jones. Gates taking a lower line. Marshall now needs to just tidy it up. Oh, with a number of straightens.
Yeah, a number of errors. All those guys at the back there having to straighten up. But get it back together again.
You know what? It probably hasn't been the best of Team Drift competitions. The best of action that we've seen in Team Drift. I don't know, maybe the strict rules of not driving the wrong way have kind of made it that
ruined the fun.
Ruined the fun, essentially, yeah.
So we need to get a score for that, Ben Manuel.
That's a 5 from me.
A 5 from Ben Manuel. Dave Egan.
Yeah, just an average 5. I think it wasn't special there. I think from the guys, more to come maybe.
A 5 there, and Kieran Hines.
I agree, 5 from me as well.
And a 5 as well. So it does look like we do have 2 teams, Eddie, are ready to go through to the final of our Team Drift competition later on this afternoon, and that will be Team M&M Engineering and Team Driftland. But unfortunately, Team Driftland work to do on their cars before they can even come out again.
Yes, so you may see like a whole new lineup in Team Drift coming out for the final.
So there we go. So from me and Eddie, that is it for now. We are going to head into top 16 competition very, very shortly. I will be out on circuit doing the top 16 parade.
Yes, and as we said, some very exciting battles to look forward to, where we will be going almost straight into our top 16.
Yeah, in just a short amount of time. We're going to take a short break here at the British Drift Championship of round 2. Join us soon for more action as we head into top 16.